Your big break, because of Curb, it almost seemed like you had overnight success. But take me through the, if push came to shove, drinking your own urine, and the role that played in, the big break.
Okay, well, yeah. So when I got Curb, I was in the Groundlings, and I was performing in a sketch show. And Robert Whitey, who produced and was directing this, it's just started out as a 1-hour special, but they wanted an unknown actress who could improvise. So they were sort of scouting around, and Robert came to the show that I was doing. And I had written this sketch about a woman in her workplace. She always felt a little like everybody else knows more than she knows. And there's a guy in there doing an earthquake safety seminar, with the group. And my character is feeling like, wow, I don't know any of this. Like, they all know what to do. And they said, what happens in an earthquake if your water supply runs out? And I said, well, if push comes to shove, you can drink your own urine. The guy says, yeah, you can, but also check the water in your water heater, because sometimes there's a supply of water that you can drink first. And I was like, okay. And so in this sketch, my character is just like, you said if push comes to shove. Okay, I thought we were talking about a catastrophe. And so the whole sketch was just this woman like, let it go. That was the whole sketch. And then after that, they called me in to audition for Curb Your Enthusiasm for a 1-hour special to improvise with Larry. And then when I walked into the audition, Bob, who had called me and said, oh, it's the urine girl. I was like, thank you. So that was my introduction.
What do you think caused you guys to hit it off so quickly?
Oh, me and Larry?
Uh-huh.
Something just clicks, right? The casting director had said, you've been married, you've got kids, and you don't put up with his bullshit. That's basically all you need to know. And, when Larry talks about it later, he's like, yeah, everybody else came in and was like, go f yourself, or whatever they want to say, but like really came in hard at Larry. And I guess he just liked that I did it in a way that I still liked him, even though he was an idiot.
So after like the decades of the rejection of, pursuing your craft, describe just the satisfaction of getting that call.
That call was great because they called me later that day and said I got it.
Which almost never happened. Almost
never happens, but also it was a 1-hour special on HBO, which was amazing. Did I think it was going to change my life? No. I didn't know how big the part was. It wasn't like, usually as an actor, when you get a script, I know actors who, as soon as they get a script, they count every line. But there's no script. I didn't know what it was, but it was the call when they decided to make it into a series. That was the call. That was like, because I was teaching at the Groundlings. I was teaching improv. And on my break, I talked to Larry, and he said, I think we're gonna do the show as a series, and I want you to play my wife. And I went, oh my God, that is the best news I've ever heard. And he said, I hope that's not true. I hope that's not true. I go, can I just have a moment of happiness? Yes, it is true. I'm telling you, this is the best thing I've ever heard. And he made me laugh, and then, that was life-changing, actually. That phone call was life-changing. I think when I'm with you, it makes me feel better about myself.
Morally superior.
Yes.
Yes. I hear that a lot.
I'm not perfect, but at least I'm better than you.
You're doing a yard sale at your place on Spalding.
Yes.
And you have an interesting conversation when you're haggling over a cordless phone.
I think it was a wallet. This couple comes up and they were like, how much for this? And I said, it's $5. And we talked for a while and she was like, can I give you 3? And I was like, listen, this is brand new. And it hasn't even been used. I have to really hold firm at 5. And they said, okay, or we're gonna forget it. And they start walking off and they turn around and said, we love Curb Your Enthusiasm. And I was like, oh no. Oh, no. I mean, at that point, I didn't even know people were watching the show. Then when I told Larry that story, and he was like, oh my God, how much do I have to pay you to never have another yard sale? He goes, how much did you make at the yard sale? I said, I don't know, $67 or something. He's like, next time you even feel like you want to have a yard sale, let me know and I will give you $67 for you to not have that yard sale.
You remember running into Harrison Ford at the Golden Globes?
I do.
That was kind of a big moment.
That was
for you,
a
right?
huge moment. We won, which was crazy. Was walking through a hallway behind the stage, and Harrison Ford and Jeff Goldblum were walking. They were walking this way. I was walking this way, and they stopped and said, "Hey, congratulations!" And I was like, "Thank you." And he said, "I'm Harrison Ford," and he said, "I'm Jeff Goldblum," and I said, "I'm Cheryl Hines," and Harrison said, "Yeah, we know who you are." It was just like, oh my God, Harrison Ford and Jeff Goldblum know who I am? That can't be true. But that was a fun moment.
What about the first few months of shooting Curb made it just so difficult for you?
It was challenging because the first 3 seasons, I never even saw a story outline for the show. So I had no idea what each episode was about. I had no idea what the scene was about. They didn't tell me anything. At some point I said, Larry, can I read the outlines? He said, that's a problem with improv, especially comedians. You tell them, this is what the scene is gonna be about, and they're at home like trying to think of something funny. I said, I promise you, I will not think of something funny. And he finally started letting me read the outlines.
She's gonna expose me to the world. She said she's gonna tell everybody about all my lies and my deceit. And you know, I've said terrible things about so many people, and you and Jeff and Susie and Louis, everybody I know.
What have you said about me?
Oh, did I say you?
Yeah.
No, I didn't mean you. No, the others.
What do you think you learned from being on the show?
Oh my God. Well, I learned everything. I mean, everything from just sort of how to behave as an actor on set, because our set was, we had the best of the best working on Curb, and nobody was, I can't think of a better word than diva. It's not really the right word, but Larry has always set the tone for everybody. And there's just no complaining. Everybody's always grateful to be with each other. I remember one time him saying, actors are always acting like it's so hard. It's not that hard. You're supposed to have a stomachache, you hold your stomach and you go, oh, my stomach hurts. I was like, well, there is a little more to it than that, but okay.
You said the two of you have a closeness that's hard to describe, and he's in his own category in your life. Explain that, if you don't mind.
I've gone through my life with him, and you know, we've not only been in this show together, like having fun on set and stuff, but even in a much deeper way, it's been marriages and kids and just a really intimate relationship with somebody.
So what's the level of anger here? What am I dealing with?
Well, I'd say at least an 8.7.
8-7?
That's not that bad.
From what I understand, filming those final episodes were some of the most difficult and emotional experiences of your life. How so?
Been working on the show for 25 years. And then to try to put into words what Larry has meant to me. Because even after the moment after we wrapped, it was kind of quiet and nobody really knew, like, oh, are we all supposed to just walk off the set? Is anybody gonna say anything? Larry's not the type of person that's gonna say anything. And so I said, you know, I just wanted to thank everybody, and I was just like, oh, I didn't even know how much my life was gonna change when I met Larry. Like the moment I met him, my life completely changed. It's hard to think that that's ending, that's not gonna happen again. It's a loss. It feels like a loss.
Really?
Yeah.
And so how do you grieve that loss?
It's like any loss where you know, you don't even know the things that might trigger the emotions of it. Because, you know, sometimes there are times that are normal where you're, oh, it's the last day I'm going to the set, or the last time I'm doing whatever. But then you might hear a sound or a noise, or you might drive by that place. Oh my God, that's the place where we spent 3 hours in a car together, talking about our kids, and I'm not gonna have that moment again with him. You know, sometimes I have to really like, you know, be grateful for it's just like anything, right? Grateful for the time that we had together.